Okay, Form 2, so we're in our second week now of fruit, vegetables, soups and sauces. So this week we're looking at slides 22 to 49, and we're just going to run through the first few here just to finish vegetables, and then we move into salads, soups and sauces. So the first slide we've got here is buying vegetables, okay? So similar to your fruit, medium size, buy where possible, buy in season, avoid bruising, avoid pre-packed. Okay, so there's nothing new there, okay? Now, looking then at the grading, so organic and EU grading. Organic is vegetables which are grown without the use of fertilizers, chemicals, pesticides, okay? Chemical fertilizers or pesticides. So EU grading then, and that's a key word, approved by the European Union. So if Class Extra is the best quality, Class 1 is good, 2 is marketable, and 3 is marketable but inferior. Where to store your vegetables, then remove from packaging just like your fruits. Store root vegetables in a cool, dry, well-ventilated place, and then salad vegetables in the salad drawer, so your cucumber, your lettuce, your tomato. And remove any damaged vegetables because they will cause others to go off. Now, quickly moving into preparing, just before cooking, eat raw and unpeeled where possible, and peel thinly to retain fibre. Use a sharp knife because, as I said in the last recording, that if you use a blunt knife, it exposes an enzyme that destroys the vitamin C. Do not steep vegetables. And another thing I'll say to you is, we're moving into cooking now, but I'll say to you here is years ago, possibly your grandparents or an older generation would, and even some people still do it, would put in a pinch of bread soda. You should ask them actually, put in a pinch of bread soda with their cabbage when they're cooking it because it retains the green colour. However, bread soda is an alkali and that actually destroys the vitamin C. Okay, so that's something to be aware of, but it's worth asking your grandparents, do they do it? Eat raw if possible, short cooking time, watch the texture, do not overcook, vitamins will be lost. Keep the cooking liquid for soups and sauces and gravies, cover with a lid, use as little water as possible but not too little or they'll boil dry, or the water will boil dry. Never reheat and never use the bread soda, which is the alkali, to destroy the vitamin C. Now, the effects of cooking: loss of vitamin C, so eat raw where possible. Starch becomes digestible, the fibre softens, so therefore the texture softens. They absorb water, they swell, they can lose colour and flavour. Okay, processing vegetables. So you can buy frozen vegetables such as frozen peas, frozen sweet corn. You can buy canned or tinned vegetables such as tinned peas, tinned beans, tinned carrots, tinned sweet corn. Dried vegetables, so dried peas, they would be like your marrow fat peas. Dried beans, dried lentils, and some people would put those into soup. And dried potato, that would be like your smash, if you've ever seen that in the shop. It's a dehydrated potato. And then irradiated potatoes, onions, carrots. So this is very important. Now, when you're looking at the effects of any of these methods of processing or changing them, you need to look at the effects on the colour, flavour and texture. You need to look at the effects on the nutritive value, and you need to look at the effects on the microbes. Are they killed or are they just inactivated? So all of those points are important, okay, to discuss. So you can read down through those yourselves. A few points worth noting there: freezing will inactivate enzymes and microbes, but it will not kill them because there's no heat. Okay, canning will kill them. And then they're destroyed with dehydration as well, because when there's no moisture, they cannot grow. Okay, so just a few points there. Also, during canning, if things are canned in brine, there's a higher salt content or sodium content, because brine is salt and water. And equally, if you're canning fruit, don't forget, you can buy tinned fruit in a syrup or tinned fruit in natural juice. The syrup will have more calories because syrup is sugar and water. So the higher the sugar content, the higher the calorie content. Right, let's move on now, please, okay? So looking here at salads. So the best way to eat fruit and veg is raw. So salads are a great option, great accompaniment, great snack, great starter. Okay, so suitable salad ingredients, you can incorporate vegetables here, such as celery and cucumber and spring onion and lettuce and radish and tomato. Fruits, so where would you incorporate the apples or the grapes or the raisins? Well, if you're making a Waldorf salad, that's apple and celery and walnut and some cheese, and you can put some grapes in there as well and a little bit of raisin. So there are salads that incorporate all of these things. Rice salads as well, you would generally, if you're making a rice salad, you generally put some maybe peas or frozen vegetables into it, and you may put also into a rice salad some raisins or sultanas. Okay, so you can ask your parents what sort of salads they enjoy eating. Also, you have things like potato salad and pasta salads, so you can have a little read through that yourself. Okay, now I'm not going to go through the nutritive value and the guidelines for preparing because it's very similar to what we've just looked at. So we're going to move into now soups and sauces. So looking first of all at soups. Soups are one of the most versatile and nourishing and widely available foods in our diet. They're a great snack, they're a great lunch, they're a great starter, they're a great appetizer, and soups are lovely and warming on a cool day, such as these days that we're experiencing at the minute. Soup is a lovely comfort food. Okay, they can be served hot or cold. If they're meant to be hot, they should be served hot, and if they're meant to be cold, such as a consommé soup, they should be served cold. Okay, and you should make it with a good stock. So what is stock? Well, a stock is a well-flavored liquid, okay, and it's the basis of a good soup or a good sauce. So a traditional stock is made by gently simmering the bones of an animal. So if you want to make chicken stock, if you've roast chicken today, you can boil those bones and simmer them for a few hours tomorrow and add some vegetables into it and then strain it, and you have a beautiful well-flavored liquid. Alternatively, if you don't have time to do that, you can buy stock cubes, which are the processed variety. Okay? Now, the reasons for including soup in the diet: it can be served hot or cold, it's very nourishing, it's a useful snack, starter or lunch, and it's a great addition to any diet. It adds bulk and it's great for slimming diets, okay? Great all-rounder, easy to digest, great for elderly and all age groups, okay? It's appealing to young children as well. It's a great, wholesome, nourishing food. So the nutritive value depends on the ingredients used. A thick soup with meat or fish and plenty of vegetables has protein and fibre, and a thinner soup will have more water and less veg. So it just depends. So the characteristics of a good soup. So what this means is, what should a good soup be? It should be free from grease, have a good colour and texture. It should taste of the main ingredients. So if it is potato soup and leek, then it should taste of potato and leek. If it's carrot and coriander soup, it should taste of carrot and coriander. It should have a good consistency, so not too thick, not too thin. It should be well seasoned, and it should be served either piping hot or cold. Now, the classifications. So we have thin soups and we have thickened soups. So the thin soups here are clear and a broth. And then the thick soups are either pureed to make them thick, so with a blender, or thickened using a liaison. And a liaison is a thickening agent. So a little bit more about that later. So another key word there. Now, convenience soups. You can buy packet soups which are dried. You can buy tinned soups. Okay, you can buy chilled soups, so they're fully cooked and then they're chilled between 0 and 3 degrees Celsius, and then you can just reheat them. So there are lots of different ways and forms of buying convenience soup. So they save time and energy, but tend to be expensive. So the advantages are of convenience soups: a good variety, They're quick, they're useful in emergencies, they have a long shelf life, and they can be used to flavour casseroles and stews. The disadvantages are they're expensive and they have colours and flavourings and preservatives possibly. They tend to be high in salt and lower in nutritional value. Now, garnishes. So how do we decorate our soups? So you can have fresh herbs like chives or parsley, julienne of vegetables. So that's very thin strips is julienne. Cream, a spoonful of cream, yogurt or creme fraiche. Croutons, which are fried cubes of bread, and you can buy them already made. Chopped bacon, orange or lemon rind, and also grated cheese. Okay, so French onion soup has grated cheese traditionally on top, and that's it there on the bottom corner of the slides. Okay, so let's move on now, please, to our accompaniments. And an accompaniment is something that's served alongside soup. So it's not put on top, but it's served alongside. So we have bread, so garlic bread, sage and onion bread, wholemeal bread, baguette, soda bread, rolls, or Melba toast. So Melba toast is where you toast a slice of bread, you take it out, you cut it right through in half so you have 2 squares. Then you pop those squares into the oven and they curl up. Okay? Now we're going to move on to sauces now. So a sauce is a well-flavoured liquid. It can be sweet or savoury, and it can be part of a dish like a curry sauce. It can coat the food, such as cauliflower au gratin, so cauliflower with a cheese sauce, or it can be an accompaniment, such as apple tart with a custard sauce. So why are they used? They're used to add variety and flavour, to complement texture, to moisten a food like gravy, counteract the fat, applesauce is served with pork, to improve the appearance and add colour, so a fruit coulis added to rice pudding, to improve the nutritive value, so white sauce added to white fish, and to bind ingredients together. That's called a panade sauce. It binds ingredients together. So the classification of sauces. Now I'm going to start at the bottom and work our way to the top. Miscellaneous, so ones that don't fall into any category. Barbecue sauce. Bread sauce, that's traditionally served with chicken. Black bean sauce, tomato sauce. Then you have cold sauces. Mint served with lamb, French dressing, tartar sauce served with fish, and horseradish sauce served with roast beef. Fruit sauces, apple served with pork, cranberry served with turkey, and orange served with duck. Jam, red currant, fruit coulis. Sweet sauces, chocolate sauce, butterscotch and caramel sauce, so they would be used with ice cream and desserts. Egg-based sauces, so you have custard, hollandaise sauce, which is traditionally served with fish, and mayonnaise. And then your roux sauce. Now, a roux is a thickening agent. It's 25 grams of margarine and 25 grams of flour. So it's equal amounts of fat and flour and varying amounts of liquid to make it a different consistency, whatever your desired consistency is. So you have white sauce and then the variations. Cheese sauce, you just add cheese to your white sauce, cheddar cheese, grated. Parsley sauce, roux sauce, bechamel sauce. Now, measure ingredients accurately and follow the recipe carefully. Ensure the correct consistency. So if it's meant to be thick, it should be thick. If it's meant to be a binding sauce or a panade, it should be thick. If it's meant to be a pouring sauce, it should be thin. Serve hot sauces hot and cold sauces cold. Now, getting back just to our roux. So we know a roux is equal amounts of fat and flour, but varying amounts of liquid. So depending on the thickness here on the left-hand side. So obviously the binding sauce, they all have 25 grams of fat and flour. So margarine or butter and flour, they all have 25 grams of that. That's just cooked on the hob slowly. So melt your butter, add your flour, cook it for 3 minutes. Now obviously your binding sauce is thicker, so it has less liquid, and your pouring sauce is the thinnest, so it has the most liquid. Okay? And then last of all, what should a good sauce be? So what are the characteristics of a good sauce? It should have a good colour. It should be well flavoured and taste of the main ingredient. It should have a good texture and consistency. It should be free from grease, so just like your soup points, and the flour should be properly cooked. So that's it for now. I hope you enjoyed listening to that chapter, and all the best with